Tennessee's football team hasn't had much stability in recent years, but it appears that they finally do so, with head coach Butch Jones running the show. The challenge, though, is a great one. Following 4 straight losing seasons, Jones is trying to bring the Volunteers back to its place among the elite programs in the Southeastern Conference. Next, we look ahead to the upcoming season, along the way catching up with former Vol legend Peyton Manning and a future Vol, Maryville's Dylan Jackson. Join us for LillyBug Network's Tennessee Football 2014 season preview.
Hi there, everybody. I'm Mark Nagi, and welcome to what we feel is going to be a very informative and fun 30 minutes of football. Okay, let's bring in Reed Carringer from Football Time in Tennessee. And Reed, Tennessee's coaching staff knew that 2013 would bring with it its share of struggles, and it certainly did so.
It did. You had a ton of ups and some downs last year for the Vols, from a win over South Carolina, Tennessee's first win over a ranked team since 2009, and a South Carolina team that ended up 11-2 at the end of the season, ranked number 4 in the country. A great day on Rocky Top that I think Vol fans won't forget for a long time. And then the end of the year, you had just a heartbreaking loss to Vanderbilt, but Tennessee got back on track, picked up their first road win in a few years up at Kentucky, and sent those seniors out with a victory.
All right, let's talk about that Tennessee defense, a woeful 11th in the Southeastern Conference just a year ago. The strength of that defense has got to be at linebacker. A.J. Johnson returns for his senior season. Kurt Magid, who missed all of 2013 because he was injured, he is back. What do those two guys mean to this team?
I'll take Kurt Magid first. Butch Jones has called him the heart and soul of that defense, both on and off the field. Just having him back with the program on an everyday basis is going to be big for this team, especially with the young defense at positions other than linebacker. A.J. Johnson averaged over 100 tackles a season headed into his senior year. He's a beast there in the middle. And then pairing him with Magid, if you go back to 2012 when Magid last played the Missouri game, Dooley's really the game that sealed Derek Dooley's fate. Magid was playing close to the line of scrimmage, and that's something that he did for the first time in that game, and something I expect him to do a lot more this season. He can wreak havoc up close to the line, getting more speed, more physicality up at the point of attack, and that's an area where Tennessee struggled, and an area I think Magid will excel at this season.
Well, that Tennessee defensive secondary is young once again, but Cam Sutton is back for his sophomore season. He started as a true freshman coming in, Emmanuel Mosley. Folks are very excited about what that kid brings to the table. So the secondary is still young, but certainly big on potential.
Cam Sutton started all 12 games as a true freshman. A 3-star recruit coming out of high school. I don't think anybody saw that coming, and really has all-SEC potential. Was a freshman All-American. If he makes an All-SEC team this year, don't be surprised. I really think Cam Sutton's a playing on Sundays type of defensive back, and you're not going to see teams throw to his side of the field very often this season. Emmanuel Mosley, a true freshman this year, just a 2-star recruit. Get this, when he committed to Tennessee, had some folks around here scratching their heads. What's Butch Jones doing, taking this 2-star out of North Carolina? But really turned heads, impressed the coaching staff, impressed the media members in spring practice, and it looks like he's going to be starting at that corner spot opposite Cam Sutton this fall.
Well, if there is a weak spot on that defense, it's got to be at the defensive line. There are no starters returning, so there are some opportunities for the young guys to come in and play. Maybe a couple of these true freshmen out of the mid-state. Michael Sawyers, Derek Barnett, very highly regarded, and there's a lot of playing time up for grabs.
2 4-stars right there. You mentioned Derek Barnett. Looked like he might be headed to Ohio State for a while. Sawyers looked like he might be going to Vanderbilt. 2 good, big gets for Butch Jones in the recruiting game. Position of need for Tennessee. You mentioned no starters returning. They weren't really productive last year there anyway, so this youth influx is going to get a chance to show what they bring to the table. Barnett, I think, is a dynamic athlete. We'll be surprised if you don't see him on the field quite a bit this fall. Sawyer's a college ready from a strength perspective, another prospect It's going to be in the 2 deep and have a chance to start. I like what this defensive front brings to the table from a talent level. We'll see what they can do as they age and experience throughout the season.
So much more to come on the program, including our conversation with Peyton Manning. We hear what he has to say about the state of Tennessee football and what he thinks about Vols head coach Butch Jones. That's when LillyBug Network's Tennessee Football 2014 season preview returns.
This is another step in really building our identity in Team 118, and we really started building our identity the Monday in the conclusion of the Kentucky game. And that's when we started our off-season strength and conditioning program, and we wanted to get going immediately.
You would go to the ends of the earth for your child's health. With an expert staff dedicated to more than 30 pediatric specialties, the best health care for your child is closer than you think. Children's Hospital.
The Tennessee Valley Fair is proud to sponsor LillyBug Network's Tennessee Football 2014 season preview. Known for its innovative exhibits, legendary concert series, action sports, exciting midway, and variety of unique foods, the Tennessee Valley Fair offers fantastic entertainment for the entire family. The 95th Annual Tennessee Valley Fair runs September 5th through the 14th. Learn more at tnvalleyfair.org.
One of the great things about the YMCA is that we don't ever have to turn anybody away through our scholarship program that we have here. If it's a financial burden that you're going through, everyone is accepted. The diversity that we have in membership is a great thing to see, from seniors to children to teens. We have many different programs here, from swim lessons to child watch to soccer to our group exercise classes. The YMCA is more than just a gym facility. It's a community-based place where people build friendships.
For all you Vol fans out there, make sure you stop by Hound Dogs. From hats to t-shirts, jerseys, tailgating supplies, home furnishings, auto accessories, and more, Hound Dogs is your one-stop shop for all things Big Orange. Hound Dogs, located at 9250 Kingston Pike in West Knoxville, or shop anytime at hdknoxville.com.
Well, we'll chart and we'll film and we'll evaluate everything. We'll evaluate how they are in team meetings. We'll evaluate how they are in the classroom. We'll evaluate how well they perform in their individual drills. Every rep, like I told them, is a valuable rep. You don't know how many reps you're going to get, so you better make sure you make the most of every single rep. Every rep is for a championship.
And welcome back. Even with all the upheaval around Tennessee football in the past few years, if there's been one constant, it's that Peyton Manning has maintained a close connection not only to the football program, but to the Knoxville area as well. He was back in the area this past summer, giving back to the community that he holds in such high regard.
It's always a special occasion when Peyton Manning, one of the best football players in Tennessee history, returns to Knoxville. He was in town this summer to renew acquaintances and to headline his own golf tournament, which raised over $165,000 for charity.
Well, I had a wonderful 4 years here in Knoxville. And I think when you play football here at the University of Tennessee, you are, I think you are a Tennessean kind of from that point on. These people are friends of mine, and they've been very supportive of me, throughout my time here. I'm very grateful for that, and so this is something I look forward to every year, and it brings me back to a place that I love very much. And Knoxville had a huge impact on me, and so we're proud of what the Payback Foundation has done, giving funds to programs here in this area that are helping out kids who don't have life easy. In this tournament, it's hard to believe it's been 17 years. We're proud to partner with East Tennessee Children's Hospital, helping a lot of kids in a lot of different ways.
While in Knoxville, Manning spent time at his alma mater, working out with the present-day Vols and catching up with head coach Butch Jones. Manning believes that Jones has Tennessee football back on track.
I think Butch had a lot of work to do when he got here, and he's put in that work. He's signing some of his players. You know, every coach wants to have their players, but I think he's been patient. At the same time, he has been hardworking as he was advertised to be, and he's done that. And I just see it continuing to get better. I really do.
Peyton Manning, of course, is very busy as he enters his third season with the Denver Broncos, but Butch Jones keeps him up to date on all things Tennessee.
One thing that Tennessee fans never had to worry about for the final 3 seasons of Peyton Manning's time in Knoxville was a quarterback controversy. He was always the guy. But once again, it looks like we're going to have a quarterback controversy at Tennessee again. 3 QBs played in 2013, and there's a chance that 3 QBs will play again in 2014. Let's start with the senior, Justin Worley. He's the guy who has the most experience, but he's also got some limitations as well.
Had an interesting year last year. Started out the season as a starter after a rough battle through spring and fall camp. Got benched, came back as the starter, really led Tennessee into a victory over South Carolina. Gave Georgia a fight as well. Then got injured, was benched the rest of the year due to injury. And it was just a rough year for Justin Worley. I think you mentioned his limitations. Arm strength, not the best on the team, but he does bring a lot to the table from a leadership perspective and from ability to run the offense and to keep that fast pace that Butch Jones and company love. I'll be surprised if he doesn't start the first few games and then see where it goes from there.
Now, what about sophomore Joshua Dobbs? Certainly a guy who's got the book smarts, and he's got some athletic ability as well. He's one of these guys who seems to have a tremendous upside, but can he put everything together and gain that starting spot eventually?
He's someone who wowed people in the orange and white game with both his running and his passing. I think he turned heads in his first start, even at Missouri, as a true freshman going on the road against a top 10 defense. Turned the ball over too much. We've seen true freshmen do that before, but he accounted for more total yards than Justin Worley has in a single game in his entire career. So you saw the potential there from Josh Dobbs to be dangerous with both his legs and his arm. It's just getting consistent and taking care of the football. This team isn't at a point where they can afford turnovers, and that's what got Worley benched last year. So Dobbs has to take better care of the football. If he does that, I think you'll see him in action on Saturdays this fall.
Nathan Peterman was highly regarded coming out of high school. He comes to Tennessee, and he has one career start, and things just went, it was just disastrous at Florida. He ends up getting hurt. They end up losing that game, but he's still a guy in the mix.
Still in the mix. You mentioned that Florida start, a couple of interceptions. The offense was just completely inept, but he showed some things last year in fall camp, showed some things in spring practice this year that he's an improved quarterback. All the quarterbacks on Tennessee's roster have improved. If you're a Vol fan, that's something you can hang your hat on. You may not know who the guys are going to be, but they're all better than they were last year.
All right, let's talk about the wide receivers now. There is no lack of talent in that wide receiving core. Let's start with Von Pearson, one of those new guys coming in. He certainly has opened a lot of eyes.
I think this wide receiving core as a whole could be one of the best in the SEC this year with what they bring from both a youth, experience, talent standpoint. They're going to be deep. They're going to be consistent. They're going to be fast if they can get somebody to get the ball to them. But they're going to be open. Von Pearson's one of those guys, one of the top JUCO prospects coming out of college last year. He's got 2 years of eligibility left, and I think he's going to be just a dangerous weapon for this team in the slot position. He can get open. You can throw him screens. He'll take it to the house. He's a threat to score whenever he touches the ball.
True freshman Josh Malone, also a guy that had everybody wanting his services in the recruiting game, and he chose Tennessee, stayed in state, and he's not disappointed thus far in the few months he's been on campus.
He's looked like a five-star prospect. He has. In the orange and white game, you saw him just have a breakout day, showed some flashes in spring practice as well. Looking forward to seeing what he brings to the table. He's got that speed to stretch a defense deep. That's something Tennessee really didn't have at times last year. So look for him to be a deep threat and then develop into an all-around receiver as the season progresses.
As far as the incumbents, the guys who are coming back, you've got Josh Smith there, you've got Pig Howard. Who else should we be looking at?
Well, don't sleep on Josh Smith. I think he's someone that last year got overshadowed by Marquez North, overshadowed by some of those guys, but the coaching staff really likes him. Local kid, works hard, a better receiver than he showed last year. Saw him make some phenomenal catches in spring practice. Another guy to watch out for, Jason Kroom. giant body, had a great spring practice, both in the red zone and marching the ball up and down the field. I think he can be a go-to receiver for this team, especially on third down.
And you mentioned Marquez North. I mean, this is one of those guys, you could envision him playing on Sunday someday, and he certainly has shown the flashes of being one of those big-time receivers.
Almost single-handedly beat South Carolina with 2 spectacular one-handed catches, and that's the norm for him. We see him do it in practice almost every day. He's a phenomenal kid, works hard, gets in no trouble off the field. One of the best young men that I've ever covered, and he's an even better receiver, if that tells you anything. Playing on Sundays one day, and I think he's an All-SEC, All-American potential right now at receiver as a sophomore.
Now at running back, Rajon Neal is gone. Marlon Lane returns, and they've got this 5-star kid out of Beach High School in the Mid-State in Jalen Hurd that everybody's very excited about. So is it going to be Lane, is it going to be Hurd, or is it going to be both this season?
I really think it's going to be both. When you look around the SEC, you look around major college football, almost every team features not 1 but 2 running backs. It's not a problem to have 2 stud backs in your backfield, and I think that's what Tennessee has this year. Marlon Lane averaging over 5 yards a carry for his career. Tennessee, kind of an unheralded back, has always been the number 2 guy. I think he'll start the season as a starter and get the bulk of the carries, but you're going to see a healthy dose of Jalen Hurd. He's just that different back that Tennessee hasn't had, that can take it to the house, that can beat you up the middle. He's got all the tools there to be a featured SEC back, and I think you're going to see him making a lot of plays this fall.
All right, but the question mark is going to be offensive line. Some of that talent went on to the pros, like Juwan James, Zach Fulton. Everybody's new for the most part there. And are they going to be able to give the quarterbacks time to throw? Are they going to be able to open up the holes for the running backs, give the receivers times to run their routes? That's a big question mark for this offense.
The offensive line had its ups and downs in spring practice. They had their ups and downs. There was a scrimmage where they gave up more sacks than they allowed completed passes. And that's just where that offensive line is. It's young, but they have some talent. True freshman Coleman Thomas is going to start at right tackle. Phenomenal kid, great athlete, another guy that I think can be a Juwan James type who starts every game in his career and goes on to a career in the pros. I think you're going to see this offensive line take its lumps early. That line last year, I think, got some undue criticism. If you look back at Tennessee's season last year, that offensive line paved the way for the most prolific season on the ground since 1998, when the Vols last won a national championship. So they've got some big shoes to fill, as you mentioned. There's some talent there. It's just going to take a while for it to gel.
And finally, a couple of those newcomers at tight end. I know the coach is very excited about Hellman Wolf.
Hellman Wolf, 2 guys that I think could start almost at any program in the SEC. They're walking in as true freshmen, better than what Tennessee had at tight end last year. The Vols didn't get much production from the tight end position, and that's a position that Butch Jones and Vol offensive coordinator Mike Bajakian love to utilize in their offense. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the Vol offense will look like this year with the tight end position incorporated in, because Hellman Wolf, dangerous in all phases of the game.
All right, that's a little talk about the offense. When we come back, we'll talk a little recruiting from just down the road at Maryville. Dylan Jackson, one of those guys that is getting a lot of scholarship offers, but he's been committed to Tennessee for quite a while. His story when LillyBug Network's Tennessee Football 2014 season preview returns.
We have to find out who our playmakers are. Who are going to be our playmakers, and not just on offense. I think when we think of playmakers, automatically our minds go to offense, but also defensively. Who's going to be able to rush the passer and generate a pass rush when we need it. And the whole mental conditioning that we talk about is really being able to process information quickly, but also thinking strategically when you're winded. When your mind is tired, that's the mark of a great pass rusher.
You would go to the ends of the earth for your child's health. With an expert staff dedicated to more than 30 pediatric specialties, the best healthcare for your child is closer than you think. Children's Hospital.
For all you Vol fans out there, make sure you stop by Hound Dogs. From hats to t-shirts, jerseys, tailgating supplies, home furnishings, auto accessories, and more, Hound Dogs is your one-stop shop for all things Big Orange. Hound Dogs, located at 9250 Kingston Pike in West Knoxville, or shop anytime at hdknoxville.com. Otis Termite and Pest Control has been serving East Tennessee for 40 years. They get the job done right the first time, guaranteed. Whether you need service for your home, your business, or for new construction, Otis Termite and Pest Control should be your first call. Otis Termite and Pest Control, a locally owned and operated business. Give them a call at 690-1662 or check out their website at otispestcontrol.net. That's Otis Termite and Pest Control.
It's the Beast. Big size, big taste, big value. Only Snappy Tomato has the Beast. Make it snappy.
Tennessee Trash Service is a locally owned and operated company serving East Tennessee's residential, commercial, and industrial waste needs, offering prompt, reliable service to their customers. For a free estimate, give them a call at 966-0086. Tennessee Trash Service.
And welcome back. In 2014, Tennessee head coach Butch Jones was able to put together one of the top 10 recruiting classes in the entire nation, and he's on the way to doing that once again in 2015. One of those early gets has been Maryville's Dylan Jackson. He hopes to bring the success he's had on the football field to Neyland Stadium. His story brought to you by Green Meadow Country Club. It's the only private country club in Blount County, serving its members since 1925. To learn more about Green Meadow Country Club, give them a call at 982-8783. There was a time when local recruits were believed by many to be an afterthought for Tennessee's football program. That isn't the case anymore. One of the latest examples, Maryville's Dylan Jackson. He committed to the Vols class of 2015 back in January.
The coaching staff is awesome. It's a hometown team, so I've grown to the traditions the past few years that I've lived here. So it's one of those things that everyone loves around here, and it's hard not to adapt to it. Their intensity and the fire that I've seen in the players when they're in practice, I love seeing that. It's a lot like we have it out here, so it's going to be a nice adaptation going over there.
Jackson is listed at 6'6" and 240 pounds. He's projected to play somewhere on the defensive line at the next level. But no matter what position he plays, he realizes that he's going to have to improve in many areas.
Different dynamic there. The speed is faster. Just watching the practices, you can tell. So it's going to be a lot of hard work that we'll have to put in as going into there.
A lot of upside, a lot of potential, and I think what excites a lot of people is just a good kid who works really hard at it and loves the game of football.
Jackson still gets the calls from opposing coaches. Even picked up an offer from Nick Saban in Alabama after committing to Tennessee, but says he's all in for the Vols. First, however, there's a senior season to finish for the Rebels.
I've talked to Coach Quarles about that. I know I'm a Rebel before I'm a volunteer, so I know that I got to do what I need to do here.
All right, let's bring back Reed Carringer from Football Time in Tennessee to talk a little bit about recruiting. It was a tough road to hoe for Butch Jones when he first got here, but he and his coaching staff have done such a good job on the recruiting trail. What makes those guys so effective?
I think it's relationships. Recruiting is a relationship business first and foremost. You've heard Butch Jones say that over and over again, and he's great at relationships. He's a genuinely good guy. I think that plays well with kids, that plays well with parents. Also, it doesn't hurt that he can sell some early playing time at Tennessee thanks to the recruiting failures of some previous coaches there. But I think the thing that stands out to me most about Butch is that the kids trust him. The parents trust him, that high school coaches trust him, and that leads to top 5 and top 10 classes.
And how crucial has that relationship with high school coaches been? I mean, we hear stories about the assistant coaches calling high school coaches that may not have a recruit that they're looking at a couple years even down the line, but it's just starting that line of communication, getting that back open again.
It's invaluable. You can't put put a price tag on that, because you never know, like you say, when one of those coaches will have a 5-star prospect coming out of the blue. And that staff has done a great job in the Tennessee area, the Georgia, the Southeast, of just repairing relationships across the Southeast with high school coaches, even across the country. You've seen them reach into the Midwest and really invest in coaching staffs there, and I think that's a big reason why you've seen him sign a top 5 class and on his way to another top 10 class.
All right, we're about to hit the fourth quarter for our show. We'll get a look at the 2014 season and have our predictions on how we think the Vols will fare. That's when LillyBug Network's 2014 Tennessee football season preview returns.
The building of our leadership will be big. Our overall team chemistry, our brotherhood, the accountability. I always say it's better to be a player-coach team than a coach-coach team, because it's the accountability in that locker room. It's that standard, that expectation that they bring to the table. Those are the marks of great football teams, is they have that peer pressure. They have that inner drive to be the best at everything that they do.
The Christmas Lantern Express is a Knoxville holiday tradition. Join us for a trip back in time and make memories that last a lifetime. It's a 90-minute excursion along the Tennessee River, and good old St. Nick might even hop on the train. For more information, check out our website at threeriversrambler.com.
Life should be fun, so what's in your game room? Games and Things, East Tennessee's indoor fun headquarters, wants to put more fun in your life with a beautiful new pool table. Games and Things features a huge selection, including Brunswick and Olhausen, two of the most respected brands in the industry. Traditional and contemporary styles, and all the accessories, including chairs, racks, balls, table tennis tops, and lighting. See the selection online at ourgameroom.com or visit Games and Things, Kingston Pike at Lovell Road. 'Cause life should be fun, fun, fun.
Leaders Club is a youth program we have here at the YMCA that focuses on healthy living, exercising, and leadership values. Exercising helps free the spirit, mind, and body, and strengthens those 3 values. Besides exercising and having fun, teens take home with them leadership values that help them through their everyday lives, at home, and through school. When I see improvements in kids, I feel tremendous. They come back and say, I'm doing really well in school, made a ton of friends. It's an awesome experience.
And welcome back, everybody. Tennessee's season kicks off in only 7 days when they host Utah State at Neyland Stadium. Reed, this is a Tennessee team that is high on potential, but it may still be a year away. They haven't been to a bowl game since the conclusion of the 2009 season. The schedule is daunting. You still have got to play Alabama, and you still got a road game against Oklahoma. Will this team get to 6 wins? Will they get back to a bowl game?
Well, I think you're going to see a team that's better. That's a lot better from a talent perspective than it was last year and the year before that. The team's trending in the right direction. You got to have talent to win games. The Vols are on their way there, but that may not mean more victories because of that daunting schedule. You mentioned Alabama. You've got Oklahoma, Georgia, South Carolina. Go to Ole Miss this season. Ole Miss could be a top 25 program this year. Really tough road ahead for the Vols, but I think they're going to get there, mainly because quarterback play is going to be better. They're going to have a better play in the secondary, more playmakers overall on offense, and they were so close to going bowling last year with the influx of talent and some improved quarterback play. I think they'll get there this season.
All right, well, we can't wait to find out. Tennessee, once again, kicks off the season in just a week's time. Thanks to all the folks here at Fulton High School for letting us shoot the special on their football field here at their beautiful stadium. For Reed Carringer, I'm Mark Nagi. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Enjoy the football.
The Christmas Lantern Express is a Knoxville holiday tradition. Join us for a trip back in time and make memories that last a lifetime. It's a 90-minute excursion along the Tennessee River, and good old St. Nick might even hop on the train. For more information, check out our website at threeriversrambler.com.